Good morning, everybody. Flip with Kelly. Gonna show you how to make a mean cup of coffee this morning. So get your basket, put your filter in there, put that in your coffee pot, and then take your coffee grinder. And I don't know if you can see down the bottom here, there's a little white dot. Basically, you just want to fill the coffee. That's your measuring stick, so just fill the coffee up so it covers that. That's part of the trick of making a good cup of coffee, is just getting the right amount of bean in there, right amount of coffee. And in case you haven't noticed, I like my coffee organic. Colombian's probably my favorite, but every once in a while I like to get a darker coffee too. You play around with the different flavors. And then there's a little button here. You push the grinder up. And you kind of hear, I don't know if you heard it, but there's like little tick, tick, ticks going on. That means it's still chopping up the beans. So I just kind of listen for those little ticks and then listen for the RPMs. You could set a timer if you want, but I don't go to that extreme. And then you got a bunch of ground up coffee. So that can go in the filter, in the basket. Now sometimes you'll see there's some coffee left in the bottom, so I just take my finger. This blade ain't very sharp, but always safety first. But I will just swirl my finger around to kind of clean out the majority of it, and whatever's left over, that'll be good for next time. And then put the cover back on. I work in a pretty compact area, so I just kind of swirl up the cord. That's good for till tomorrow. Just kind of tuck it away up against the wall. And then I usually do about 8 cups of water. Turn it on. And then if you don't have filtered water, because I don't use filtered water because it goes through a filter in there, you can turn this upside down. Let the water drip out of it because it's not filtered. Do a little shimmy shake. But you gotta get the pot back in there quick, because you don't want it to overflow. Well, not real quick, because it takes a while for the water to trickle in there, but don't walk away and just, because it'll overflow on you. Get the most of it. Put that where it belongs. Shut the lid. And that's all there really is to it. Rinse and repeat for the next day. Now, I don't know if you drink a whole pot of coffee. Lately I've been drinking a pot, but you could drink a half a pot today, which is probably a couple, 2-3 cups. you know, smaller cups like this. You could drink 4 cups today and 4 cups tomorrow, or drink all 8 today, or split it up however you want. Maybe you want to store it in your fridge. Mine just sits out till next day, and then I hit the on button again. Takes a little longer to warm up, but I also do have a heater in my room, so I just one of those radiator heaters, so I just set this right on there, and that helps keep it warm it up too as I'm drinking it. So yeah, I mean, you could sit here and watch this coffee percolate if you want. I'll let it run, but that's the gist of it. Caffeine is what do you call it? Not a depressant, but peps you up. It's an eye opener. So a lot of people enjoy the taste of a good cup of coffee. You know, you can add stuff in it. I drink mine black. Every once in a great while, I snag one of those fancier drinks, cappuccino or whatever. But for the most part, I've always been just a black coffee drinker. You want to add a sweetener and a creamer in there. That's totally up to you how you want to do it. But yeah, we'll just let this Mr. Coffee go at her here and percolate. And then typically what I do after I make my cup of coffee is I sit down and I write out my my tasks for the day, my top 5. So try to start with write all 5 of them down and then prioritize them. Like number 1 would be the thing that is most important or satisfying, or like if you couldn't get the other 4 done, that's the one thing that you definitely want to get done today above everything else. Like, say, just think of it as, okay, I'm going to get this thing done, you know, assuming you can get it done right away in the morning. Or if it's a 3 o'clock appointment, plan your whole day around that 3 o'clock, I guess. But yeah, after you write down your top 5, then I would number them 1 through 5 in whatever order of priority they are, and then get that one thing done. If none of the other ones get done, you're still happy for the day that at least that one got done, because you don't want it to wait till tomorrow type of thing. So there's important, there's urgent, and then there's what's the word for it? Fulfilling, right? What's the most fulfilling thing? Kind of plan your life around that. Basically, I think of life as, let's say you got 2 loves. Maybe you got a love to build buildings, and your other love is music. Maybe you want to be a rock star. Well, then you've got to kind of sit down and decide, what's the thing I love the most? Or maybe you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had to do things in a certain order because it would have never worked the other way around. So first he was a bodybuilder, then he became a movie star, you know, a high-paid actor, and then he got into politics. And that was just kind of the natural progression of things, because he wouldn't have been a bodybuilder in his golden years, right? So, and he wouldn't have been as smart when he was a bodybuilder to do the political side of things. And then, you know, the middle part, what it takes to be an actor. So well, we're up to about 4 cups. We could just dump it in. I think I'm going to let the rest of it filter through and let it marinate a little bit. And this first 4 cups is probably going to be a little stronger, unless you want that stiff drink. I guess dump her in then, go for it. Grab a couple cups, or a cup or 2. Beautiful day. We had a cold one here last night. but we went out anyway. Got my little puppy dog going outside the doggy door, taking care of business. I better go shut that doggy door off. It's kind of hanging open. Yeah, and then once I get this going, I can do some cold calling, texting, emailing. I just had a call from a seller this morning and said he was not interested in selling, but he just did an eviction, and he just kind of talking to me how I got my leads, and I'm honest with him, you know. I don't go into detail how I pull these leads, but you know, I think there's a lot of people are smart enough to figure out that, yeah, you know, you can get a lot of stuff online. But I said, you know, we also drive around and we've got, you know, various different ways of getting the leads. And it's usually a pretty friendly conversation. Of course, you know, you're not going to hit everybody all the time on perfect day. And if people do lash out, just remember that, you know, you did send them a marketing piece, so if that interrupted their day, they got every right to speak their mind. I'd much rather have somebody do that than to, you know, passive aggressive or, you know, go around behind your back and do it some other way. And just remember, a lot of it's got to do with them, not you. So don't take everything to heart, and just realize that if they're having a bad day, you probably had a bad day once too, and you know, you got things going on in your life and they weren't in the mood. Hey, wholesaling ain't for everybody. Well, we're getting towards the end. It's got a lot quieter now. Okay, time to get my liquid stimulant here. This is Kelly coming at you guys, and you guys have yourself a great day. If you found any value, or I wish I could send the smell across the phone. I think they got that stuff nowadays, but anyways, you guys make your own cup of coffee and smell it, and enjoy all the benefits. This is Kelly. Smash the like button, subscribe. Kelly out.